My name is Sagarika Menon, and I'm from Team 14383 Formula R. Today we're going to be taking a look at Tensor Flow and models. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Let's start with the basics. What exactly is Tensor Flow? Tensor Flow is a machine learning technology from Google. It's an image recognition software that can identify objects and learn and identify patterns. So the three main questions that we're going to be focusing on today are: what are models, how are they made, and how do they work? So a model is a collection of labeled images that tells a computer what an object is and how it looks. To understand this, we're going to use a metaphor. So can you identify this object? How about this one? And this one? And this one? And all of these? They're apples. And how do you know this? Because someone told you that these are apples and that's what they look like. So a computer does exactly this. You give it hundreds of thousands of photos of apples and you tell them that they are apples. So no matter whether it's a ginger gold, a gala, or an empire, they know that it's an apple. The computer goes through and identifies patterns between all of the images you give it. And once it has learned sufficiently, it's able to identify these objects based on the patterns with a margin of error. So how exactly does it work? Well, models learn in the same way that we do. First, you take a bunch of images of the same object with different backgrounds, lightings, and positions, and then you draw a box around where the object is and label it. You give it a name. Or, if you do it in Colab, like we'll have a tutorial on in the future, you just place them into directories that are labeled with the class or name of your object. Next, you give the computer all of this data and it learns. It uses one set of images to learn what they are and then tries to identify an entirely new set of images to track whether or not it is correct. So while training, you want to minimize the loss in identification, but overfitting it can be counterproductive. We'll talk a little bit more about overfitting at the end. So what is loss? It is the measure of how accurate a model is. And the lower the loss, the more accurate the model. So here's a bit of the in-depth process. And this is missing a few phases. And there's several different ways to train a model depending on what methods you follow. We'll be going through this step by step in an upcoming video. In our graph, we'll start with a line with a linear correlation in which, as you increase the number of photos, the accuracy of this goes up. Here's another positive correlation. Now, overfitting is when you start with a line like this, and there's so many points that you end up with a line like that, in which in trying to include all the points, the model includes close to none of them, which makes for a very poorly trained model with a low accuracy. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all in the next video.